who would win in an arm wrestling match?
You've been pretty like feisty though, I feel like.
See, but she didn't deny it. She's like, you'd be a great competitor, but I would definitely still win. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time together.
Not enough time together.
Clearly.
Not
enough time.
Welcome to the Canada Basketball Office.
Thank you.
Obviously a ton of trophies behind us. It's so funny.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Hey.
Sorry. Thank you.
Tons of trophies here. Any trophies that stick out to you that you guys recognize?
Yep. Yep.
Go ahead.
The infamous Americup
Here, let me get
trophy.
it out for you.
Half of the American
Half of it.
It's a nice looking trophy. I mean, it was a nice looking trophy.
It was a nice
can hold
looking
it.
trophy. Paige, you're the stronger. You're the stronger one.
Oh.
Oh, it's still falling apart. This is by far my favorite that is in here.
So we won the Americup in 2022 in Miami.
We were walking back from the hotel. I was jokingly like making vlogs at that point, just for fun.
It's just my career, what I do professionally. You're just making fun.
No. Because I was just making vlogs because we had done it at the previous World Cup. And I was just saying thank you to everybody in the Big Yammy for, you know, all the support. And then all of a sudden you hear this huge crash in the background. And Ron had been carrying the trophy and this entire bit just broke off and shattered on the ground.
Side. Yep.
So he broke it.
Nice.
Our guy Ronnie Dimes.
Good memories.
Broke it.
Ron.
To everybody who put on the event, so much fun. And thank you to the Big Yam, that means Miami. We actually just broke the trophy.
Wow, this is fun. What just happened?
So,
You guys have spent a lot of years traveling together. Same team, same countries, roommates.
Roommates.
Best mates.
Best mates.
For title. Yeah. Pacey, as we like to be known.
Yeah, we're Pacey. Paige and Kacie.
Oh, nice. Just
Yeah.
pacing the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Saying yes together. And not at the same time. What's it like being able to get to know each other better, like, over the years?
Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm like the newest member to their foursome because it was her, Catherine, Michelle, and they kind of rotated a fourth. And I was lucky enough to be included in a tournament one time, and then they asked me to come back for another tournament.
My claim to fame was asking Kacie to come to said tournament. Okay.
My claim to fame is that Paige asked me to go to said tournament. And so, yeah, it's been so cool learning from Paige because, again, she's not just an athlete. She's a mother. She's a businesswoman. She's so smart and listens to all the podcasts in the world. I feel like I just get random facts all the time. She's so intelligent, so funny, and just goes with the flow. So it's really easy to room with her. Although, yeah, no, it's really easy to room with her. It's good.
That is too kind. Thank you so much.
Okay, now talk about me.
Yeah. We also like to say that we are like very similar in our living habits, so it makes rooming so seamless for us. Same level of cleanliness, same bedtime, same routine. It's perfect.
You guys go to bed at the same times?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then we wake up at the same time.
Nice.
Paige lays out my clothes for me for the next day. It's perfect.
You guys like set alarms? Whose alarm goes off first?
We both wake up before our alarms.
Yeah, we don't.
No alarm necessary.
Interesting. No like fight for the washroom or anything?
No,
No,
we're pretty chill.
Where it gets interesting is when Poppy comes and travels, so then it's me, Kacie, and Poppy in one room.
That's an adventure.
Okay, you need to tell the story with the fuzzy peach when I was in the shower.
Okay, this was Antwerp World Cup 2022, set in
Belgium?
the scene. Yeah,
Yes.
we're in Belgium. Paige is in the shower, so I'm default babysitter when she's in the shower, okay? My mom had, I think it actually might have been my dad, had packed me fuzzy peaches because they're one of my favorite candies. And I had it sitting on our like countertop and me and Poppy are hanging out, you know, doing our thing. Coloring, probably playing with stuffies, things like that. I ask her to play with stuffies. It's not the other way around. Anyway.
Stuffies.
My stuffies that I pack and bring. But we have Fuzzy Peaches sitting on the counter. And all of a sudden, it's quiet. I'm like, what is happening? Where's Poppy? What is going on? I look over and she's kind of like, if they're right here, she's like looking at them. She's like, oh, you know, I love Fuzzy Peaches. And I was like, oh, do you want one?
What a coincidence. You have a whole pack.
Crazy that they're right there when you said it. So then we were playing catch the Fuzzy Peach in the mouth, which is totally appropriate to do with a 3-year-old. No choking hazard involved whatsoever.
She's a good babysitter.
I'm a good babysitter. She's not that on my watch.
I trust you entirely.
Yeah. So I was like tossing them for her to catch in her mouth, but she didn't quite understand the concept.
You're trying to catch them and then put it in her mouth.
So the one time I toss it and she just like whacked it down and then went on all fours and like picked it up with her mouth. And I was like, yeah, we can actually probably call the game now. We don't need to keep going.
Oh, I was like, please tell me you walked out at that point and you're like, what is going on?
No, but I have a video.
I did film it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if she does catch it in her mouth, this is a big moment.
Casey's like, Poppy, no hands this time. So he takes it and spikes it, hops on the ground, and then eats
Oh my
it off
god.
of the hotel carpet.
So I'm a good babysitter.
So it's been a trip. It's been a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Poppy very, very tight. So.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's go back to like that moment where like you got the opportunity to join the team.
Yes.
Like what was that like hearing them reach out to you, or like what was that process even like of connecting with Kacie?
Well, when I moved to Lethbridge, I feel like everyone in the city knows Kacie. And so they're like, oh, you play basketball. You must know Kacie Bosch. And I was like, well, I've actually heard a lot about her, but haven't actually met her yet. And I was always looking for a pickup game, and everyone would always talk about Casey's brother's infamous games at the YMCA. So they're like, you need to be connected to Keaton to have a good pickup game. And then Kacie and I finally met, and I was like, we have a tournament coming up. Do you want to join us? And I had heard like a lot about Casey's playing career. We played against each other in university when I was at Utah and Kacie was at Gonzaga. And then I don't actually remember how it went down after that.
I think you just asked if I was free, because you had asked if I was free for an earlier tournament.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, like, did I just squander my one opportunity that I had? And then it came back up in November for the AmeriCup, like the inaugural AmeriCup. And I had told my dad the first time, I was like, yeah, they asked if I could play, but like, I'm not available. I can't take time off work. And he's like, what? You did what? You didn't say yes? And I was like, okay, what? Like, I just couldn't miss my job.
Right.
And
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities. I needed to make some money. So, you know. Anyway, he got like so mad at me because I didn't take the opportunity, and he's like, what if that was your one shot? And I was like, okay, well, when you put it like that, if it happens again, I have to say yes, quit my job, whatever. And so when she asked, I was like, the obvious answer is yes. And I told my dad, and he was stoked because it was a tumultuous time when I told him that I had said no at that moment.
Did you know much about them when you joined the team?
Not a whole lot. I knew that they were good.
Yeah.
I knew
What
that they
year is
were
this anyway,
very
like-
talented.
2021, so it was
Yeah.
like early stages because we played in 2019 and then there was no season in 2020.
Right.
So we just started picking things started to pick back up in 2021.
Yeah.
And when you live in Alberta, you know who the Ploufs are. So then I knew the Ploufs were
Yeah.
playing, and then I knew her older sister played at the University of Lethbridge, so I knew Taylor Crozon,
Okay.
and by extension knew Paige, and then the Utah connection too. But
Such a small world.
yeah,
Such a
it
small
really
world.
is the smallest. So I knew that they were good. I was like, they have such talented players. It would be so fun to just go try something new, and then went, and the rest has been history.
Okay, I'm gonna take us back just to give the viewers some context. Let me start off with you. You grew up in Lethbridge. Bit of a big deal, like you said.
Huge deal.
Southern Alberta High School League champ,
This is Lethbridge.
MVP. I
Future
think.
mayor of the city.
It's a small city.
Future mayor. Yeah, I like that. MVP in like your grade 11, grade 12 year. I'm pretty sure is what I saw somewhere. Team Alberta at Canada Summer Games. That's a lot before even heading off to university.
And was recruited to play volleyball at Gonzaga first.
Oh wow.
I was gonna play volleyball at
What
university.
position?
Setter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-sport athlete.
What made you? Wow. What made you pick basketball over volleyball?
I just played volleyball for fun because I really liked my high school teammates.
Yeah.
They're like still some of my best friends. And so I was going to go play volleyball because I was like, oh, like I have so much fun playing it. But it was because of the people. And I was like, I like basketball because I like basketball. So then I was just like, I've put so much time and effort into this already. I might as well just stick it out and
Like,
see what happens.
To the sport?
Yeah. I don't regret that at all.
Yeah.
So
What was it like growing up in Lethbridge, just playing all those sports? And
they love basketball in Southern Alberta. It's really cool. We have like a zone tournament for high school, and the stands get packed. It's like sellout crowds, and so it's really cool, but it's so small. It's like your big fish, small pond. So then when you go play provincial team stuff and you're exposed to all the best in Canada, then it really puts into perspective, okay, this is where my skill level is at. This is where I need it to be if I want to go this far. So yeah, growing up in Lethbridge was awesome, and the community surrounds us still to this day. They're so supportive all the time, and I've never felt anything but love and support from them. So
this is good for like your mayoral candidacy.
Yeah?
yeah,
Like
this is
campaign.
actually just for my campaign
Yeah.
for
Yes.
2030.
They're still around
6
us.
years.
The community's behind us.
Yes, yes.
And then you grew up in Saskatchewan,
Yes.
Humboldt Collegiate.
Yes.
When I was doing research for this, it looked like you played every sport and won at every sport.
Paige,
4A champion in basketball, volleyball, high jump,
yes.
discus,
Yes.
and then 2A women's hockey.
Yes.
And that's just the ones you won championships in. Like,
she's also a swimmer.
and a swimmer. Yeah. One, where do you find the time to do all of that? And like, why was sports such a big part of your life growing up?
Yeah. I think growing up in a small town, that's what my parents did to like keep us occupied. And we had access to all those sports, and I had support taking me to all those activities. Like my parents drove so far all over the province every single winter and summer to make sure I could go to all those activities. But yeah, it was just such a big part of my community. Everyone knows of the Humboldt Broncos. And so like the Humboldt Broncos were always a heart of the community. Every time they had a home game, all of my friends would go and watch. And that's how we would like spend our downtime. And so I just grew up watching the Humboldt Broncos. And then when I started to get involved in basketball, it was the University of Regina Cougars and the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, which are like two major programs in youth sports. So I just had so many positive role models within sport as well. And I just wanted to emulate those athletes and be like those athletes. And I know we spoke in previous interviews. Every single time the Olympics were on, we had this 13-inch TV in our kitchen, and we'd always just like huddle around the TV and like watch the Olympics. So sport was always such a big part of my family's upbringing, and we're really competitive. So it was just such a natural like outlet for me as well.
3x3. How would you describe 3x3 to like someone who is a basketball fan but might not have seen Game of 3x3 on TV? Oh, tell me. Give me the
You want
3x3
me?
pitch. Yeah, like what would you say to somebody you're like, yeah, this is it. This is what it is.
From what standpoint? From like a youth development or like a viewership standpoint?
Oh, wow. This is why you said...
She thinks. I don't think, I just do.
Because I think for like kids, it's so good because there's only 3 people on the court. There's so many, each athlete gets so many opportunities to touch the ball, to shoot the ball that sometimes doesn't happen in the 5-on-5 game. And because we have no coach that's coaching us during the game, I think at the youth level, it's so good to develop those leadership skills.
Sorry, I'm laughing because it's like you get tons of playing time and
Yeah.
coach isn't telling you what to do. You're
It's
like,
the
great,
best.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really like playing, like when we have our games, it's just like we're playing on the playground
Right.
with our best friends, and we're always just keeping it light and goofy anyway.
In different countries.
Yeah.
In the best settings and scenery.
The best venues.
Yeah. You guys have traveled to a lot of countries competing on the 3x3 circuit. What's your favorite country so far?
I loved Japan.
Japan was good.
Despite the outcome of the tournament,
Yeah.
7-Eleven Japan is my favorite restaurant of all time.
Why? Tell people why.
Okay, the options are endless. They've got fruit smoothies that are just made with water so it feels healthy. And then you've got onigiri. You've got egg salad sandwiches galore, which is one of my favorite foods. I'm not gonna say my favorite. I'm classier than just an
crazy
egg
choice.
salad sandwich.
A funeral sandwich.
A funeral
Bold
sandwich.
choice.
However, they're so good and so many options. So many things that you don't actually know what they are until you buy them, and then you have to test
Blows
it
your
out.
mind.
Yeah.
They should watch this. You should get a sponsorship out of
Sponsorship,
this. If
yes,
you want to like
I
look
know.
at that camera right there and just
7-Eleven Japan, please. Please.
Does the outcome of the tournaments taint or
Yes.
So for
yeah.
context, you guys went to Japan recently. This was your first shot at qualifying directly
Yeah.
to the Olympics this summer. Made it to the final, lost to Australia in the final by 3 points.
I think if we would have qualified, Japan would have been one of my top stops ever. We had such a positive experience, and now I'm like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
But then there's just so many heavy feelings associated with that tournament as well, just because it was so disappointing because we were so close. All the mistakes were within our control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel the same about Austria last year,
Yeah.
which was great. However,
Which is funny because like
Is
I've
that
only
weird?
traveled with you guys twice, and it happens to be
And you're not coming to this one, hey?
And I'm not coming to that. No.
There you go. Paige Crozon.
Oh man. Okay. Well, good luck in Hungary next week. That's been the pun. No. What was I
not to
gonna
say it's your fault, but
There's a common denominator.
Never travels again. I'll just watch from afar. That's okay. That's okay. My favorite thing about traveling with you guys and even watching is waiting to hear how like the announcers announce your names, because it's like always a question mark of like what they're gonna come up with. Do you have a favorite mispronunciation of your name?
I have one for Paige.
you're gonna steal mine.
They called her Peggy.
Peggy Croissant.
There's big names for you.
So it's Peggy.
I would make a good Peggy.
So wait, they go Kacie Bosch, and you're coming out like hype, and then
Yeah.
you're waiting, and you're like, "Where's Peggy?"
I'm like, Peggy?
Peggy.
That's a wild move. But they don't usually mispronounce my name
Okay.
because it's pretty,
Yeah.
It can throw some people off, though. No?
Kacie Bosch.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not really.
You're
They have
like
it down.
Yeah. Peggy
Peggy.
Croissant.
Peggy Croissant.
Yeah. The Plouf's got some interesting ones too.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Ploufy is like my favorite.
Floof. I feel like they get that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Any travel hacks that you guys have picked up while traveling?
Paige.
Well, my suitcase is currently 70 pounds, so
Oh.
I would say no.
In one suitcase.
I do have the Normatec, which is at least 5 pounds, but
So tell me about the other 65.
yeah, that's a good. It's all perfectly organized in cubes.
Nice.
However, it's very heavy.
Do you have the same problem?
I didn't used to.
Oh. Then you spent some time with this.
However, now
I feel targeted.
now I do carry a lot. Way too much. Like we are gone for
Yes.
7 days max most of the time on trips.
Except for this trip.
This trip will be 30 days, which is a long time to
Yeah.
be on the road, just packing and repacking. Travel tips, eye masks to be able to sleep.
Yes.
The blackout eye masks.
Key.
is
Noise canceling
huge.
headphones.
Yeah. You're really good at sleeping on flights. What's the key? Because like
Historically,
you'll
I
like
sleep
KO on a 10-hour and it's like we're landing.
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, I do get a little bit of motion sickness, so I take a gravel, a melatonin, and then I'm out for the entire trip.
Just one melatonin?
Depending on the length of the flight.
It's okay,
sometimes
there's no
two.
doctors watching this. You're totally okay.
I was like, this is not regulated. But 1 gravel, 1 to 2 melatonin. I nestle in my corner.
And before you take off, you're out?
Yes.
Wow.
I missed both of the meals coming back from Japan. And on the way
no.
there.
And you're not hungry. You're just like, oh, wake
I'm
up.
asleep, so.
Oh, wow.
She asked one time to be woken up for meals, never again after that.
What happened?
Well, she knocked herself out for the flight, and I'm sitting next to her. She's like, "Wake me up for the meal." It's like, "Okay, perfect." I'm like, she's
was
not
not that
moving.
gentle. It was
not moving at all. No, it was.
Oh,
it was this,
okay.
and then you didn't wake up. Then I pushed a little bit more, didn't wake up, and I'm like full on shoving her to try to get her to wake up. She's got her sleeping mask on. She like peels it up and she's like, just puts it back on, falls asleep. I was like, okay, well, she's not gonna eat. Sorry.
Yes. I don't sleep as well at home, probably because there's a small child that relies on me. So when I get on the airplane, just knock right out.
Wow. Okay, so the combo of gravel and melatonin.
Yeah.
That's what we're telling the audience.
And probably sleep deprivation before.
That's fair. Yeah, it is busy, like days leading up or leaving.
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yes.
That's totally fair. Speaking of long days, how do you unwind after a stressful game or tournament?
Watch the film back a dozen times.
Paige watches every game.
Wow. What are you looking for?
How many times over?
I think previously it was kind of like an anxious like mechanism as a way to like cope, and now I'm getting better at just like watching, being more like less critical, just analyzing the things that we can improve upon, and then being able to like put it to rest and move forward.
It's interesting to see that. A lot of people don't know. I mean, in 5-on-5, like yes, you can like scout the team and like you're picking on players and stuff, but and countries have different styles of play. Obviously that bleeds into 3x3, but for 3x3 it's like even more so. You really need to like know who you're playing, and if you haven't seen them play, it's like even harder. Like what's that like in the 3x3 environment?
I think our team has gotten really good at like coming up with like, these are our principles. This is what we're gonna do every single game, irregardless. So then we're always kind of like prepped with our principles, and then it's just small modifications based off of who our opponent is. And then also knowing like our standard of play and what is expected for ourselves, and like the pressure that we feel is kind of like comes from within because we have such high standards for ourselves. But then we also keep it like really light because we know our values are like being joyful and having fun on the court as well.
Okay, what's like your like most fun thing or your favorite thing about 3x3 that people would like wouldn't guess otherwise?
I feel like just the accessibility of it. I mean, a lot of the tournaments we play at, it's kind of just foot traffic, so people get exposed to it without even meaning to sometimes. And there's a live DJ, and the crowd can get really into it. Although when you're playing, you can't hear the music at all. You're just playing. You don't even know what's going on.
Like, how do you stop from not getting into that? When the crowd's
honestly, like you don't even hear it when you're playing, but when you're just watching, it's so fun because it's so high energy. There's so many reps. It's so fast, and the announcers do a really good job of keeping people engaged too, and it's a blast. It's so fun.
And to build on the accessibility, we have like a great group of practice guys that play against us. So all you need is 6 people. You can always find like, or not always, but you can typically find like a half court at a YMCA or at a rec center, where if you're going to play a full 5-on-5 game, it's hard to get the full court. So all you need is like 1 basket, 6 people, and you can play. It's like, that is my social life.
And you can stream it on YouTube for free.
Yeah. Wow, this is actually a really good pitch. Low maintenance, all the playing time in the world.
Take
and
all
it's
the shots.
free on YouTube.
No bad
Take
shots.
all the shots.
No bad shots.
No bad shots.
My motto.
And you just watch your own film.
Paige can't take a bad shot though.
Yeah, you're unreal. Your 3-point shots are insane. Well, 2 points.
2 points is the threes lingo. Well, we would accept 3-point shots.
Oh, do you have any other 3x3 lingo that people wouldn't know?
We have our own language on our team. We have so many screens that we've made up or have been inspired by other people. So when we're talking to each other, we're like, set this screen, and people are like, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that is. And we're like, right, that's just us.
Right.
Yeah.
And 3x3 is like still in the infancy stages, so I feel like we take so much inspiration from other teams, and we have like no shame where it's like, okay, we're taking this play from another team and we'll call it what that country, the name of that country.
Wow. Will you run that play against that team? Like,
for sure.
We have, we have for sure.
So, and what do? They're just like, what? Like, oh, so you could be playing France, and you're like, okay, run France, and France is like, it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been done.
You hope there's a language barrier.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fingers crossed. They don't know what their country's name is in English.
They're doing something. This looks familiar. Oh, that's actually amazing. If you weren't playing basketball, what will you guys be doing right now?
Well, I'm just finishing up my teaching degree.
Yeah, tell me about that. How's that?
I have 1 more semester of practicum, and then I'll graduate with my teaching degree in December, and then I can go into teaching. So that's for sure what I'd be doing.
Large question for something that's been a big part of your life.
With the exception of travel, I think I'd still continue to train and play just because it's just such a source of joy and happiness for me. But then just time with Poppy. I work for a nonprofit called Living Skies Indigenous Basketball League, where we offer a province-wide Indigenous youth basketball league across the province of Saskatchewan. So just time with those athletes and continue to build that program.
Kacie, you have a knack for getting injuries to the head in back-to-back seasons.
She's a habit of running into people's elbows.
Rolling some pictures here. What do we have in store this year?
Hopefully nothing. My last head injury was due to Paige. So that's a little awkward.
Nice.
So Paige, what are you going to do to decrease my head injuries?
If you weren't at my elbow's height, it would have solved a lot of problems. That came out meaner than
Make
I
sure you
intended.
include that. I need people to
You're
know.
like, you need to watch where you're walking.
My
Just-
elbows were here, you ran into them is how
No,
I like
I didn't run
That's
into
how I
it.
remember
I
it.
was standing like this waiting for the ball because I'm so much lower to the ground than you, apparently. Just came down, boof, elbow to the head.
I-
Started bleeding.
very
Haley
sorry.
Van Lith threw me to the ground.
Oh, that's a tough time.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Oh my gosh.
And then I rolled over and I saw a droplet fall and I was like, okay, well.
Yeah.
That
said
was the first time or the last time?
The last time. That was in
Okay.
Austria.
So when it happens for the second time, are you just like, man, again?
Yeah, I was mad. But I was mad because I didn't know it was Paige that did it. I thought it was one of the Americans.
So then you found out by watching film? Or
Yeah, I went back to take a closer look.
Is this when you debrief in your room and you're like talking about the game and,
And
you're
then
watching
Casey's
film?
mom calls and is like, try not to elbow Casey next time. And I'm like, I am so sorry for hurting your daughter.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So hopefully
are.
it never happens again. And if Paige, can stick to her part in that, then we'll be fine.
Deal. Oh my gosh.
Deal. Casey?
Oh,
I was about to jump in there. I was like, yeah, I didn't
Like, do you not leave me hanging?
so sorry.
Starting to sweat.
Oh my gosh. Were you sweating?
Now
it?
she's sweating.
I was.
Oh
Now
my
she's
gosh.
sweating.
No, that's amazing. Okay, big year. Obviously, you guys have been playing at a high level for a few years now, leading up to like 2024. Just what's this outlook been coming into like an Olympic year? It got really serious. You're like, yes. What's it been like?
We definitely have noticed like an increase in intensity moving into an Olympic year, which is to be expected, but just really excited for what's to come because like you mentioned, like this is what we've been working towards. And like our why stays the same. And every single game we just try to bring the consistent like effort, energy, and attitudes that we have always had and like hope that that works out well for us going into these qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
For me, knowing how much Catherine, Michelle, and Paige have like put into the program, like they've started it from the ground up. They deserve to be at the last Olympics, and it didn't work out. And they deserve to be at this Olympics too. So a lot of my why is because of them. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you'd be in a position to potentially get to call yourself an Olympian?
Not really, no.
Yeah. Like, what's it like coming to terms with that?
Haven't. Have not come to terms with it.
Or playing for the opportunity to get
Yeah.
that?
Just playing in an Olympic qualifier has been super cool and something that I never thought that I would do. So to be on one of the best teams in the world with the most amazing people, going into this Olympic qualifier, like I want nothing more than to be a part of that for them, because I wouldn't be still playing 3x3 if I didn't love my teammates. And because I love them, like I want all the good things to happen to them and everything that they deserve to happen for them. So to be just like a small part in that journey to like bolster them up has been like the most rewarding part for me.
You say small part, but like 2021, like
Small
talking about
as
like
in
3
little.
years.
Small as in little baby girl.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. And like not just one of the best teams in the world. You guys are literally ranked #1, multiple players in the top 5 on your team. How do you guys stay like so poised and in the moment? Because like I could jump ahead and be like, man, the Olympics, and you're like, no, there's like steps. How do you like hold yourself back from like thinking that far and like really trying to take care of the moments ahead of you? You know what I mean?
Like not everything has always worked out for us. Like yes, we've been very successful, but even looking at our last World Cup when we lost in the quarterfinals, like we know that things like that can happen to really good teams. So again, going back to our values and knowing what we do well and how we can lift each other up and play light and play free, because that's when we do play our best. But we know that bad things can happen to us, or like the outcomes that we want don't always happen. Yeah. So knowing that that's a reality and having to play your best, because we're the #1 team in the world, people are going to have to play their best game in order to beat us.
Yeah.
So we just always have to be as prepared as possible and know we know that we have like a target on our backs and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think we've been so committed to always like growing and improving and trying to like refine what we're doing. Like we've never been like, oh, we've won a bunch of games in a row, we're good now. It's like, how can we build upon this tournament that we just won, or how can we get better? And I think that's really helped us as well, and has really made the process really enjoyable, because every single year I feel like there's like a new version, and we keep progressing and keep growing. And one of what we've always said since the start, because we have sometimes different players come to different tournaments, is who's ever playing, we want them to have a positive experience playing basketball. So it's like, what can we do to foster that for whoever is coming in and joining our team or coming with us to the tournaments, from athletes to support staff?
You guys talked about Japan and bouncing back from the first Olympic qualifying tournament. You're going into Hungary, 3 spots up for grabs. Like, what's the team's mindset? Like, how are you guys feeling as you get into that tournament?
You want to start?
No, you go.
Japan was really tough for me personally, just because it felt like we were like so close and had it within reach. So it did take me a few days to kind of like bounce back and be like re-energized for this next qualifier. But we are in it for the Olympics and always had that vision in mind. So this week we were very fortunate to have our families out here in Toronto with us, and I think that really provided a lot of like grounding for me, because I had time with my daughter Poppy all week, and she comes and I give her a hug in the airport, and she hasn't even watched the game. She's always cheering for me, I know that, but it's like, it just provides a lot of perspective, because it's like, okay, there's things that are so much bigger than basketball. And then also provides a lot of inspiration, where it's like, okay, I'm doing this, part of the reason why I'm doing this is for her, to like be a good example for her. So I think now we have another opportunity to qualify, which is amazing. So just gonna go in and, you know, like have fun and play the way that we always do and like be us on the court. Is kind of the perspective that I have right now.
When you see Paige, like as a mom and having that inspiration, like, one, is there an inspiration that like you have, and like what's it like also seeing some
My daughter Poppy as well.
You need to share that story.
So, going down a different road.
I love it. I love
put a pin in
tangents.
it.
Yeah.
Put a pin in it.
It is very serious.
I can't be serious for longer than that. I almost cried on camera already, so we'll move on. Sophie, who is Kim's daughter, our coach's daughter,
Yep.
loves Poppy, is obsessed with Poppy for all the right reasons. She's,
As Poppy is with Sophie.
yeah, they're like 2 peas in a little pod when they're together. So Kim was telling us a story about how Sophie is learning about relationships, and different family members have like this title and blah, 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 blah. So she was coming to see us in January. Kim was bringing herself, her husband Ben, and Sophie. And Kim was telling Sophie, okay, we're going to go to Lethbridge. We're going to see Poppy. So she's excited, and she said, oh, and we're going to see Paige. And Sophie, learning relationships. Oh, Poppy's mom. Yes, nice, Sophie. You got that one right. And then Kim goes, and you're going to see Kacie. And Sophie goes, oh, Poppy's daddy.
And she always sees Kacie and I together.
Because, yeah, we're Pacey.
Pacey, yeah.
We're Pacey.
Your roommates.
Yes.
Poppy stays in your room when you're together.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It checks out.
So she was like, yeah, Poppy's daddy. And so we are in Lethbridge. Kim, Ben, and Sophie are there. Paige is already in the gym, which means Poppy's in the gym too. Poppy and Sophie are together in the equipment room at the University of Lethbridge, because that's where we're training. So I walk to go get a ball from the equipment room, go in. Sophie and Poppy are just standing there. And Sophie sees me, she's like, oh, Poppy, look, it's your daddy. And so Poppy kind of like looks at me, she's like a little nervous, she's like, well,
Right, because Poppy's like, wait, what do you...
actually, she's not my daddy. And I'm like, how do we break it to Soph? That's not
But now
who
it's an
I am.
ongoing joke that
Oh,
Kacie is
gosh.
Poppy's daddy.
Yeah.
So Poppy's
pretty
just
funny.
like, let's
Let's roll with it.
She was like, I don't want to break her spirit right now.
wow, what a mature kid. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So my wife's my daughter. Poppy. Long story short.